The New York Jets flew Aaron Rodgers out to New Jersey, only to tell him that he was not in their future plans. I feel like that exact scenario has happened maybe a little differently to our excellent engineer on the show, Jake Hassan. Jake, I love you. It is, in fact, a cold, cold world. So the Jets going to move on from Aaron Rodgers. To that I say, awesome. Great job by the New York Jets. Seriously. An unbelievable job by the New York Jets deciding not to move forward with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. And Jets fans are up in arms over this. Jets fans can't believe it. I tweeted on Sunday, great job by the Jets. You would have thought I tweeted, pizza sucks and puppies are ugly. Jets fans are all over me. Like, Aaron Rodgers gives us the best chance to win. Who are you going to get that's better than Aaron Rodgers? To which I say, it's not the point. Because with Aaron Rodgers next year, the Jets aren't winning anything. If you're not going to win with Aaron Rodgers, and he's a me-first 40-plus-year-old quarterback, why would you want him there when you have this new head coach who's trying to instill a winning culture? A culture the Jets haven't had in a really, really long time. Probably honest since Rex Ryan was the head coach. And how sad a sentence is that to say out loud? It's a great move by Aaron Glenn. It's a great move by Darren Moogie. The Moogster, the new GM, saying no thanks, but no thanks to Aaron Rodgers. Because with Rodgers, it's all about him. And Aaron Glenn wants it to be all about the team. Next up for Aaron Glenn now is going to be to stop getting all the big players on the Jets, like tweeting and posting on Instagram like they're teenagers that have been spurned by the love of their life. Quinnen Williams quote tweets the news with the thumbs down. Dude, grow up, man. They gave you're a multi-millionaire. I don't want to be part of another rebuild. Sack up, dude. Grow up. Sauce Gardner with the incessant posting on social media. Garrett Wilson, these are great players. Maybe not Sauce. Garrett Wilson with the incessant posting, enough already. You want Aaron Rodgers on this team? Leading these young men? That's what you want when you try and build a culture? 100% the right move by Aaron Glenn and the Jets. Now, look, last segment I told you, I'm probably going to be high on the Saints compared to their win total. I can't imagine I'm going to be high on the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be bad next year. And maybe, or definitely, Aaron Rodgers would give them the best chance to win games next season. I'm not arguing that. But again, it's not the point. The point is to win a Super Bowl. And if you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, then rip the Band-Aid off now and start laying the foundation to build a skyscraper. Like the Lions did with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. A really bad first year, a better second year, ends with a hot streak, and then you go from there. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with the Jets, but that's clearly the blueprint, and I think it's really smart. So good job by the New York Jets. And as for Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's done. I think he's probably got some good football left in him. Another year, maybe two. He's not the worst quarterback in the league. He's not one of the best quarterbacks in the league at this point. He's first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's not at that level anymore. I think Aaron Rodgers is a passable quarterback. He's better, for instance, than, let's say, Derek Carr. We'd rather have Rodgers than Derek Carr. I would also rather have Aaron Rodgers than both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. All the reports out there that have the Steelers as the leader in the clubhouse for Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, man. I'm just ready to go on vacation. I haven't talked to any of my sources. I'm ready to get the hell out of here, man. But I think it makes a lot of sense on paper. Because you can really make the case that if there were a head coach that could have Rodgers fit into his culture and his organization and his mentality, it would be Mike Tomlin. They've reined in a lot of big personalities in the past. And a run game in Pittsburgh, where Rodgers is definitely better than Russell Wilson, I actually think it makes a lot of sense. So, again, just to be clear, I'm not saying Rodgers is done. I think he could start on some teams next year and be good. And I'm also not saying that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be the best quarterback to help the Jets win in 2025. But is the point to win 7 games in 2025? Or is the point to eventually win a Super Bowl championship? It's the latter. And the Jets know that. And they made the right move, saying thanks but no thanks to Aaron Rodgers. You bet on this Tuesday. By the way, you got a banger of a Champions League game right now in Manchester. Manchester City and Real Madrid tied at 2 in the second half. As I slowly start to wade back into the soccer waters. Diggy Football will be back on the show once I'm back from vacation in a couple of weeks. PJ, your thoughts here on the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Glenn and etc.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and this is why I liked the Aaron Glenn hire to begin with, because he's no nonsense, and he was going to come in there, and the Jets needed a leader. They needed somebody like this to get Rodgers out, so I think they're doing the right thing. Rodgers to Pittsburgh, I think, is interesting. Nick, my theory is I think the Cleveland Browns should get Aaron Rodgers to be their quarterback for next season. I think they trade Myles Garrett away, get as many picks as they can, draft Abdul Carter with the number 2 overall pick. You get your pass rusher.
Can I just say, I think that makes a ton of sense, right? That they would just pick Carter 2nd overall if they move. Honestly, I think even if they don't trade Myles Garrett, they should take Carter. But I think, because I haven't had the chance to say this yet, because we've done all this other stuff, I think you're 100% right about this. And I really love this take from you about the Browns, Garrett, and Abdul Carter out of Penn State. I think you're right.
Because, look, we know Watson's done. He's not going to play this upcoming year. Even though you're paying him all that money, the Browns, I think, finally will say, we got to move on. He
tore his Achilles twice in how long? Like 90,
exactly.
Like 60 days, like twice in 2 months, basically.
He's done. The Browns understand that not only are they not winning the Super Bowl this year, they're probably not going to the playoffs. Their best players demanding a trade. So get as much as you can for Garrett. If the Browns think that Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders is their guy, or Jalen Miller, or whatever quarterback they want to take, then that's a different conversation. I don't think either of those guys are going to be as great as Jaden Daniels or even C.J. Stroud his rookie year. So I would build towards the upcoming seasons, maybe the year after or maybe the year after that. But again, Carter, I think, Nick, in this class is the can't-miss guy. I think he's the safest pick. I think he's going to be awesome. You don't have to pay Garrett. You can get Carter on a rookie deal. He can be your pass rusher of the future. And, bring in Aaron Rodgers, right? All the things that you were talking about with Pittsburgh, running game, offensive line. Judy really emerged the second half of the season. And I think Rodgers, going to a place like Cleveland, having a chip on his shoulder, everybody expect him to suck. Yeah, like the Jets, right?
Like the Jets, right? Yeah. Like
the Jets. I've always thought Cleveland made a lot of sense. As soon as the Jets told him that he wasn't coming back, I thought, with Cleveland holding the number 2 pick and with Garrett wanting to trade, I just think it makes sense that you get Carter at 2, you don't take the quarterback, and instead you bring in Aaron Rodgers for a year to be your quarterback.
I'll say this about that, man. I don't know if you're going to turn out to be right about it, which is not the point. The point is that, as Femi would say, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Think about all the success that Kevin Stefanski has had with basically any quarterback not named Deshaun Watson, who is the worst and will continue to be the worst. I mean, they made the playoffs with Joe Flacco off the couch. Again, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is top 5 quarterback in the league anymore. He's definitely better than Joe Flacco. Definitely. I think I like this. I think I like what you're saying here with Rodgers in Cleveland. Now, I don't know if they'd be great next season. They could be, I guess, pretty decent. Okay, if I told you Abdul Carter is the 2nd pick in the draft, they trade Myles Garrett, get a bunch of draft picks, because obviously, think about all the picks that they've missed that the Texans have had, courtesy of the Deshaun Watson trade, and Rodgers is the quarterback. Okay, what's the ceiling for the 2025 Cleveland Browns? How about better question? Two-part question, as I'll edit myself in the moment. What's the win total for the Browns? And pencil, not pen, for the answer. A lot still to be determined. And then what's the ceiling for the Browns? Rodgers is the quarterback. Garrett traded Abdul Carter in with the number 2 overall pick. Onward, etc.
Yeah, it's a good question. I
asked it 4 different ways, so thank you.
The win total,
a lot of opportunity.
The win total, if Rodgers is the quarterback, Nick, I would say, again, is similar to New Orleans. I think you view those teams pretty much similar. I would say 7.5. I think that probably the ceiling for Cleveland is maybe somehow they sneak in to that 7 seed. Because, look, the defense, even without Garrett, if they do get Carter at 2, they got some nice pieces on defense. The division is tough. But, like, the Browns play well in their division. Burrow struggles against them. They always beat the Ravens once a year, usually beat Pittsburgh once a year. And we know, like you said with Stefanski, he's normally really good with some older quarterbacks. Like, depending on what Cleveland's price is, Nick, if all this happens like we're projecting, I could see myself maybe betting Cleveland potentially to make the playoffs. We know every year there's usually a team in both conferences that make the playoffs that nobody expects. It was Denver. Washington this year is kind of the two wild cards. Like, maybe you look at Cleveland, like, depending on what the price is. So I say win total 7.5. Depending on the price, I maybe could see myself placing a ticket on them to make the postseason.